Well, good morning, Middle Georgia. I'll be getting this started in just a second, just making sure everything is good on our end. We got a busy day here in Middle Georgia. Not a lot going on right now, but we knew the snow would come in a little later this morning, and the onset of snow, it's here. It's going to start over the next couple of hours. It's just after 7:30 this morning, and again, going to be watching things carefully as we head throughout the day. So I'll be up there in front of the camera in just a second. Just want to make sure everything is a-okay. So questions, comments, ask away. I'll be here all day long getting you through the storm. But again, not much going on here in Middle Georgia right now, but again, that's what we want. So I will do my best to answer questions, do everything I can, and let me get this one last thing going, and then we'll be, I'll get up there and start breaking down the overall winter storm threat and the very cold temperatures that we're going to be experiencing. So again, going to be a busy day here in Middle Georgia. Not so much the snow. We're going to see some snow, but it's going to be the cold temperatures that we're going to be really concerned with. All right, so here we go. Again, gonna be a busy day here in Middle Georgia, but that's what we are here for. It's gonna be our third weekend in a row when we are dealing with snow, or at least the threat of snow. We had last weekend the ice in portions of Middle Georgia along with severe weather. Weekend before, we had a beautiful snowfall event here in the mid-state. It was one of the best snowfall events we've had. Quick accumulations, everything melted. That's not going to be the case this time around, unfortunately. So if you have questions, ask away. I'm going to go through the forecast, and then I'll answer questions, and I'll go through the forecast again. Again, it's going to be an all-day event, but it's going to be light snow. But the problem is temperatures are already below freezing. So let's dive right in, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can as we head through the overall Facebook Live. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on our website. So again, busy day ahead for Middle Georgia. So let's jump right into what we know. Current temperatures already below freezing in many spots. We're in the 20s and low 30s. These temperatures will fall all day. Our high today was at midnight, and temperatures will be into the 20s the rest of the afternoon. If you're not below freezing yet, say in our southeastern counties, you will be over the next couple of hours. We got a north wind that's going to really start increasing over the next couple of hours, and it's going to be a howling north wind, and that's going to be the main issue today, is the dangerously cold temperatures. So temperatures are not going to climb today. They're going to be falling all day. As I said, the high, it occurred at midnight. Current wind chills across Middle Georgia, many of us down into the 20s. It's already feeling like 24 in Macon, 26 in Milledgeville, 21 in Thomaston, and again, these will continue to fall as well as those winds increase and the actual air temperatures begin to decrease as well. So as we look at the overall setup, snow flurries starting to fall in the Atlanta metro. They're getting snow in the North Georgia mountains. It's light snow. This is not going to be one of those heavy wet snows that we deal with typically in the south. This is going to be that light snow, smaller snowflakes, more powdery and more fluffy, and that's what we're going to be watching. Got some light snow across central Alabama, and this snow, it doesn't look impressive on radar, but I assure you, as the storm system really gets its act together, we're going to see the radar fill in. And again, we're not going to see a lot of snow across Middle Georgia, but what snow falls, it's going to immediately stick, and with those winds, you're going to have reduced visibility. So again, next few hours, the radar will continue to fill in, getting snow reports around the Atlanta metro. Hartsville is reporting some light snow right now. So this will continue to drop off towards the south. As I said, the radar, it will continue to fill in. Got some heavy snow over towards Charlotte, Greenville, and Asheville, Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. I know a lot of people head up there on the weekends. Lots of snow up that way. It's been snowing all night, and that snow will continue to drift off towards the south and east. So let's go through what we know. Weather warned days now through Monday morning, because we are going to have a high impact winter storm now. The higher snowfall amounts are going to be off towards the east. We knew that along and east of that Interstate 75, I-16 corridor. But the cold is going to be the real story with this event. It's going to be dangerously cold. We're talking wind chills below 0 by tomorrow morning, and we are expecting impacts on travel because it is so cold. So anything that falls, it's going to immediately stick. Looking at some of our partners in the Atlanta stations, some of the communities in North Georgia, it's sticking to the roads immediately before it even sticks to the grassy area. So that should tell you something. This is a very cold, dangerous event because we are going to have those impacts on travel. And again, next few hours we're okay in Middle Georgia, but by the afternoon you need to be where you're going to be and stay put, and plan to stay put until at least tomorrow, as those temperatures will not recover. Again, winter storm warning in effect for a lot of Georgia, including portions of Middle Georgia. We got the winter weather advisory along the west of that Interstate 75, 16 corridor. And again, the difference is really the overall impacts. When we look at the winter weather advisory, which is for Macon as well as Warner Robins, Forsyth, Thomaston, down towards Cochran and Eastman. And then you get the winter storm warning for Milledgeville over towards Wrightsville. This includes McIntyre, and then over towards Gray. That's where you're going to see those higher impacts. And again, a winter weather advisory means snow up to 2 inches. And this is an all snow event. We're not going to see freezing rain. We're not going to see sleet. This is an all snow event. Expect moderate impacts. Doesn't mean you're going to see 2 inches of snow. It just means you could see up to 2 inches of snow. And then a winter storm warning means you could see 2 inches or more with significant impacts. That includes for this purpose, it's going to be travel impacts. This is really not going to be a power outage issue because, like I said, the snow with this event is not that heavy, wet snow we're accustomed to in the south. It's going to be that light, fluffy snow. If there are power outages, it's going to be caused by the winds today, not the weight of the snow on trees. So that's certainly some good news. We're not expecting widespread power outages, but we are expecting impacts in the form of travel issues later this afternoon and today. So snowfall timing, essentially today, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to start in our northern counties and will continue to drop off towards the south and east throughout the day. Temperatures are going to be falling all day today. As I said, the high for today has already occurred in Middle Georgia and will be into the 20s for many locations the rest of the day. The winds, they're really going to pick up. We're going to see winds 25 to 35 miles per hour with higher gusts. Essentially, a tropical storm force wind gust will certainly be possible, and that's when you get over 40 miles per hour. That's going to be impacting travel, especially for those high-profile vehicles, but also it's going to be blowing that snow around. That's going to reduce visibility, maybe even some snow squall issues across portions of the mid-state. And a snow squall just means very, very low visibility due to blowing snow. And then again, also those travel impacts, icy and slick roads, because anything that sticks is going to stick to the roads immediately. And we're not going to see those heavy accumulations because the wind's going to be blowing the snow around. So just be prepared for that. I know a lot of people want to see several inches of snow. That's not going to be the case. This is not a major snow event for us. This is a major cold event for us, as we're going to see those wind chill values by this afternoon in the single digits. Overnight could be as low as -5 in portions of Middle Georgia. North Georgia, the Atlanta metro, -15 to -10. Those are some of the wind chills they are looking at. So again, the cold is going to be the issue, and a lot of the mid-state could see temperatures staying below freezing for over 24 to 36 hours, and that's pipe bursting weather. That's a high impact event as well. So hopefully you've made all those precautions. If you haven't, you still got a couple of hours before that really cold air starts to sink into the mid-state. Now, when we're talking impacts, forecast has really not changed all that much. We've got Along the 75-16 corridor, minor impacts. This is for travel. Again, this is going to be travel impacts, not power issues. But again, when we're talking minor impacts, we're talking roads are going to be slick. They're going to be icy. Once that snow starts as well, it's going to be those reduced visibilities because of those very high winds. You get limited impacts as you head west of 75, moderate impacts Milledgeville to Sandersville up towards Sparta, and then even some major impacts. This is where we're going to be seeing that greatest accumulations of snow and those really significant issues on those back roads, especially those roads that aren't going to be treated. I know driving in this morning, I could tell 75 and 16 have both been treated by GDOT, so that's certainly some great news, but that's only going to help a little bit. The main issue will be with the heavier snowfall and those very cold temperatures. It's going to stick. We're going to see accumulating snowfall and slick spots developing as we head through really the next few hours once the snow starts to fall across middle Georgia. And again, those impacts, if there are any power outages, it's going to be caused by wind, not snow. This is a very unique situation. This is like the snowfall event last January when it was that powdery snow, that light powdery snow. We had snowfall ratios. If we talk about that, typically snowfall ratios in the south are 8-to-1, maybe 10-to-1. Last year, they were 14-to-1. For this event, they're about 20-to-1. So this is not going to be great snowball making weather because there's not going to be a lot of moisture in the snow, but it won't be heavy snow either. So that's certainly some great news. A lot of times in the south, we'll get a snowstorm. The weight of the snow, that's what brings the trees down. That's not going to be the issue for this. Power outages will be caused by wind because I showed you those winds, 25 to 35, gusting even higher. Blowing snow will reduce visibility. We're going to be seeing visibilities like they see in the north when a snowstorm comes through because of those high winds. We're just going to see that blowing snow where it is snowing. And again, developing slick and icy roads, especially later this afternoon, evening, and overnight, will set the stage for dangerous travel conditions. Again, next couple of hours, you're going to be okay. It's once the snow starts, be where you're going to be for the rest of today, tonight, and at least through the first half of the day tomorrow. I know tomorrow is Sunday. A lot of people were asking me, is church going to be canceled? I don't make those decisions, but you are your best judgment of if you can drive on roads. It's going to be cold though. The cold is going to be the story. So you want to make sure if you do get out, you're not going to get stranded anywhere because it's going to be dangerously cold and EMS will not be able to get to you as quickly as possible because of the slick travel conditions. So let's just start thinking about our Saturday planner. Mainly cloudy right now. As I said, temperatures high already occurred. They're going to steadily fall through the 20s as we head throughout the day, and we're going to have light snow showers at times, especially across or east of Interstate 75. West of 75, yeah, you're going to be seeing snow flurries, but the greatest totals will be east of 75. And of course, I'm going to show you snowfall totals in a few minutes. But again, snow showers at times, and notice those temperatures steadily drop. That's why the accumulating snow will be an issue as we head throughout the day across middle Georgia. So let's look at one of the models. This is just model data. This is the HER model, and that means high resolution rapid refresh. This is a short range model. It updates every hour, not showing much across middle Georgia right now. But the latest model run was at 7 a.m. and over the next couple of hours, we're going to start to see that snow working its way into middle Georgia. And this is all snow. Don't worry about that pink shading over towards Hancock and Putnam County. This is all snow. This is this afternoon at 1 p.m. Snow is falling. And where you're seeing these darker shades, that's where you're going to be seeing those heavier snow bands set up. And those are the snow bands that can often deliver surprises. So maybe from Wrightsville to Sandersville to Milledgeville, we could get an area in here that could easily get 2 to 3 inches of snow. You get just a couple of miles east of west of that, maybe not even any snow. But notice the snow will be falling across portions or really all of middle Georgia. And again, we'll be watching to see if one of these or a couple of these snow bands set up. And where they do, that's where those heavier amounts will be. The rest of us just going to be dealing with light snow. I really expect most of middle Georgia, maybe half an inch of snow to an inch, just depending on your location. But with that blowing wind. It's going to be a blowing snow. You're not going to see it piling up evenly everywhere. It's going to be being blown around, and because it's that light powdery snow, it's not going to be holding itself together. So you're just going to see a lot of issues later today. It's going to be one of these unique episodes across Middle Georgia. And notice as we head into the evening hours, still got that brighter banding off towards the east, and that's where they'll see the snow come to an end. I think by 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, it's really out of Middle Georgia. But the snow will be on the ground, and it's going to be sticking because by this time tonight, we'll be into the lower 20s in many locations. Now, again, we're going to look at model data. These models update multiple times throughout the day. This is the graph model. It's been fluctuating a lot. So each model run, it throws out some different numbers, and this is the latest model run. Again, you're seeing those heavier bands off towards the east with not much from Macon off towards the west. The model has been consistent. Now, it throws numbers out each time. It's throwing nothing out in Macon. We're going to see some snow in Macon. Will it amount to anything? Don't expect it to, but it will be sticking. So 1/2 inch to maybe 1 inch in some spots, maybe just a trace, but you're going to see some snow across much of Middle Georgia. So this is one model. We look at the American model, the GFS model. Again, it's showing those higher amounts in our eastern counties, not much off towards the west, some lighter amounts along the Interstate 75 and 16 corridor. Then you look at the European model. How is it different? Well, it's really not. Again, you continue to see the heavier amounts off towards the east. This is where we're going to be dealing with those greatest impacts. And again, you get lighter amounts as you head west of Interstate 75 with maybe trace to 1/2 inch here in Macon, as well as Warner Robins. And then again, higher amounts, 2 to 3 inches, certainly possible as you head up towards Eatonton and Sparta. And then as you head over towards Augusta, they're talking 3 to 5 inches. Then up in the Carolinas, anywhere from 8 to maybe 14 inches, just depending on what part of the Carolinas you see. So again, you see models are pretty good agreement as far as where the snow is going to set up, with the higher amounts off towards the east, the less amounts off towards the west. But it does show that a lot of locations are still going to be seeing some snow, just not a lot of snow. And like I said from the get-go, this was never going to be a major snow event. It's going to be an all-snow event. We don't have to worry about sleet and freezing rain, but it was never going to be a major snow event for most of Middle Georgia. It's going to be the cold. And let's start talking about that cold, because those temperatures are already below freezing in many locations. And again, we have that extreme cold warning. We haven't had one of these since last January when it snowed across the mid-state, but that's going to be because we're going to have those wind chills by tomorrow morning in the -5 to 10 degree range. And that's here in the mid-state, all of Georgia under an extreme cold warning. And actually, these extreme cold warnings extend as far south as Lake Okeechobee down in Florida. We're going to be seeing temperatures in the 20s down across South Florida, some of the coldest air they've seen since the 80s. But for us in Middle Georgia, it's going to be from 7 p.m. tonight through 1 p.m. Sunday. And again, it's because of those wind chills are going to be so dangerously cold. And that is what we're really concerned with. The coldest air we've seen all winter long here in Middle Georgia. Coldest temperature we've had in Macon so far this winter, 15 degrees. We're going to be close to that, but the issue is we're going to have those howling winds of 25 to 35 miles per hour, and that's just going to make it feel so much worse. And we're not dressed for that. We're not built for that in the South. We don't have that kind of clothing, those heavy parkas that you see up north. We don't believe in that. We live in the South for a reason, because we don't want to deal with this cold weather and the snow. But unfortunately, every once in a while, it decides to rear its ugly head, and that's what we're going to be dealing with. So let's look at the wind chill forecast. By the next few hours, as I said, already feeling like it's in the 20s in many spots. As we head into the afternoon and evening hours, check it out. Notice how fast those winds have really increased. 12 degrees. Forecast wind chill in Macon by 5 p.m. this evening. As I said, no one needs to be out tonight. I know a lot of people probably still want to get out tonight, even if there's not much snow on the roads, but it's just going to be miserable. It's going to be a miserably cold night. Those winds are going to be howling all day and all night once that snow starts. And again, notice by 8 o'clock tonight, it's feeling like 8 up in Monticello, 9 in Eatonton, 9 in Thomaston, 11 in Sandersville. And as we head towards 11 o'clock, feeling like 11 in Eastman, Hawkinsville, as well as Warner Robins and Montezuma. And then as we continue through the overnight hours, 3 o'clock, 7 degrees in Eatonton, 6 degrees in Thomaston, 9 degrees in Fort Valley. Just brutally cold air will be in place, and those winds just will cut right through any clothing we have. So you're going to be having to dress in layers if you have to be out, but really do not be out. Just sit at home. Hopefully order some pizza this morning and you can have it all day. Pretend it's a Super Bowl party or something. Just don't be out and about once the snow starts. And then again, as we head towards 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 is what it's going to be feeling like in Eatonton, 4 in Thomaston. And where you do see snow on the ground, these numbers will actually be lower because that snowpack is going to act like a freezer essentially. So we will likely see some areas fall below 0, especially where you see those heavier snow bands set up. And again, that will likely be in our eastern counties from Milledgeville over towards Sparta and Sandersville. So as we even head through the day tomorrow, this is 9:30 tomorrow morning. Like I said, a lot of people plan on heading to church tomorrow morning, houses of worship, 9:30. Still going to be feeling like the single digits in a lot of locations. Just a brutally cold air mass that's going to be moving through the mid-state. And then as we roll into tomorrow afternoon, a lot of locations, this is 2:30, this is peak heating of the day. We're still going to have those gusty winds, still going to be feeling like freezing, even though afternoon highs should get into the mid-30s by mid to late afternoon, but it's going to feel about 10 degrees colder for many locations. But luckily, tomorrow evening, those winds will come down, so the wind chills aren't going to be a major issue as we head into Monday morning, but we're still going to be dealing with that very cold weather. And I will give you a glance at the 10-day forecast. I mean, we got those weather-worn days today, tomorrow, and Sunday and Monday. Again, that's going to be for the cold and especially the overnight hours when if anything melts tomorrow, it will refreeze tomorrow night because we're getting back down into the teens. But after Monday, we start the quick warm-up. We're going to have another system on Wednesday. That's going to be an all-rain event because temperatures will be into the upper 50s, and we do cool off a little bit behind that. But average high this time of year, 61 degrees. We're nowhere near that today. We're already 30 degrees below that. And like I said, temperatures will continue to fall. So we do have warmer weather ahead, and we do have a rain event, an all-rain event. When's the last time we could have said that? That would have been that second weekend in January. So it's been 3 weekends in a row we've been dealing with winter weather issues. And again, I think by the next weekend, we should be A-okay because those temperatures will be into the 50s. So that's how the forecast is looking as of right now. What I'm going to do is go check out the questions, comments. If you have anything, I'll try my best to answer those. And we're going to be updating this throughout the day, updating our stuff on on the digital platforms. And of course, we will try our best to answer any questions. And we do encourage you. I will show you this. If you're going to be out and about today, enjoying what little bit of snow. It's not going to be a lot of snow, but when the snow starts falling, show us. We would love to see that. We have that great way you can show that stuff off, and we actually put it on our website, and we will show it off on TV. You can do it through Chime In. You can go to wgxa.tv/chime in and share it that way, or you can scan that QR code right there, and that will take you to the Chime In app, and let us know what you're seeing, where you're located, and tell us what you're doing, how you're enjoying this little bit of snow. Again, this is not going to be like that first snow event 2 weeks ago when it was beautiful across middle Georgia, big fat snowflakes. It's heavy coming down, covering everything. These are going to be the small snowflakes, and then that wind is going to be the issue. I'm telling you, reduced visibilities later today, especially along the interstates where you have those wide open spaces. You got to be careful, but if you do want to venture out, we'd love to see how you're enjoying the snow, but bundle up. It's going to be dangerously cold with those wind chills below freezing and into the teens and single digits later today. But we always love to see how people are enjoying some inclement weather across middle Georgia. We don't get many snow days in the mid-state, but again, This is an odd year. Third weekend in a row we've been dealing with that. So again, that's what we're dealing with. I'll pull up the radar while I look at the questions and comments. I see they're really coming in. And they're coming in on multiple platforms, so I will try my best to answer as many as I can. So, good morning from Jones County. Thanks, Dina. Hope everything is going well. Lizella, expecting any snow? You're going to see a little bit of snow. It's going to be mainly snow flurries. It's not going to be major snowfall. This was never going to be a snowfall event for us as far as inches and inches of snow, but notice the snow really starting to fill in. Again, around the Atlanta metro, they're getting the snow coming in as far south as Hartselle, Henry County. We're going to check on our Skycam at Echo Park Motor Speedway here shortly and see if the snow has started falling. But again, this is going to be that light powdery snow. It's not going to amount to much. And when Lizella being west of 75, you're not going to see much in the fact that the main snowfall is going to be east of 75. So thanks, Mark, for asking that question. Sandra, down in Lawrence County, you can maybe see a couple of inches of snowfall. You're going to be in that eastern part along that Interstate 75. You are included in that winter storm warning, which means you could see snowfall in excess of 2 inches. But like I've been saying, this is going to be that light powdery snow. The winds are going to be blowing it around, so it's not going to pile up like we saw a couple of weeks ago and quickly melt away. It's just going to be blowing around. I'm telling you, those winds, when they pick up, you're going to really notice that. And again, it's going to be blowing everything around. That light powdery snow, it doesn't stick to many things, so that's why we're going to see those reduced visibility. So, let's see, we're going to continue to go through this. Peach County says hello. Well, hello, Crystal Gale. Hope everything is great in Peach County. Telfair County, down in McRae, you're under a winter weather advisory, which means you're going to continue to see some areas of snowfall. And I'll pull up the watches and warnings again just to show you where everything is. And again, where you're in the winter storm warning, that's where you're going to see those higher impacts. You get down towards Telfair County, McRae, Helen, you're going to be seeing Eastman over towards Vidalia and Cochran. Lighter snow amounts, lighter impacts, but you're still going to be seeing impacts because we're all going to be in the teens by first thing tomorrow morning. So shouldn't be a major event, but you'll get the snow in Telfair County. It'll probably start down there, probably closer to 3 or 4 o'clock. Light snow, nothing especially heavy or widespread. So that is what we are doing with. Let's see. All right, Lisa Webb, Jones County, when and if are we going to see that white stuff? You're not going to see a lot of white stuff, I'm promising you. But I would say it's going to really start in our northern counties, 9 or 10 o'clock. It'll get down into Jones County by lunchtime, and it'll be more of a nuisance than anything. We're not going to see a lot of snowfall with this event. This is not a major snowstorm for us. It's a major winter storm because we are going to be seeing snowfall. We are going to be seeing impacts because once the snow starts falling, what amounts we do see, it's going to stick immediately, especially to those roads and elevated surfaces. So later this afternoon, and it will snow at times most of the afternoon. This is going to be snow showers. It's not going to be a persistent heavy snow, but again, light snow. And we say this, big snowflakes usually equal smaller amounts of snow. These are going to be small snowflakes, and those will usually account for higher snowfall totals. But again, this is a relatively dry air mass in place, and we're not going to be seeing a lot of that accumulation because of those gusty winds. It's going to be blowing that snow around, not going to give it a chance to pile up. But again, if you're in that winter storm warning, that's where we're going to be seeing those higher amounts across portions of the mid-state. Again, somebody over here is going to get a couple of inches of snow, 2 or 3, maybe as much as 4 inches. It depends where those heavier bands of snow set up. So hopefully somebody will be happy, but a lot of people are going to be disappointed because people want to see snow if it's in the forecast, and that's a lot what we have to deal with. We have people that wish cast, and wish casting, you think you see, oh, I see 4 to 6 inches, I didn't get 6 inches, you were wrong. No, you could have seen up to 6 inches, but that doesn't mean you're going to see 6 inches. That's just how the forecast is. And with this event, you're going to have a narrow snow band. It's going to set up somewhere. We don't know where yet. We just have to wait for the system to really get its act together. And within that snow band, you could see 2 to 4 inches maybe, but you go 3 or 4 miles down the road, there's nothing, just a trace of snow. So again, somebody's going to get a little bit more snow than it's anticipated, while many locations you're going to be disappointed in the snow amounts. But we have to keep saying this was never going to be a big snow event for Middle Georgia. It's a big winter weather event for the state and the mid-state, because we are going to see some snow, but it's impacts. Impacts, that's what we're urging. The impacts is because the roads are going to be slick and quickly turn over to ice as we head through the afternoon and evening hour where that snow falls. And then with that blowing wind, reduced visibilities. Again, we could see reduced visibilities like a dense fog advisory across the mid-state, because that snow is going to be blowing because it's that light powdery snow. So just checking the comments. Watching from Johnson County. Well, hey, good morning to you. Faye, Johnson County, you're over there. Wrightsville, you're looking good in many locations. You're inside that winter storm warning. Johnson County, you're likely going to be one of those areas that gets a little bit more snow than the rest of us, because again, you're in that winter storm warning. That means usually snowfall totals over 2 inches. And again, somewhere over here, don't know where that band's going to set up, but somewhere over here, I would not be surprised if there's maybe 4 inches of snow by the time this is all said and done. Again, good luck. It's just one of those type of events. Macon, Georgia. Hey, Eugene. Yeah, it's a cold morning here in Macon. And as I've been saying, temperatures already below freezing. We're sitting in the low 30s in many spots. And like I said, these are the 8 o'clock observations coming in, already down to 29. Last hour, we were at 33 or 32 degrees. High temperatures have already occurred today. They occurred at midnight when we were in the mid to upper 30s. These temperatures will continue to drop the rest of today. So 29 over the next couple of hours will easily be into the mid 20s. And then you factor in that wind chill's already at 22 in Macon. It's feeling like 25. And you see those shades of purple off towards the north and west. Once these winds really pick up later this afternoon, these wind chills are going to fall like a rock, and it's going to be dangerously cold. And again, I'll go through the wind chill forecast by really lunchtime. I think a lot of us are going to be feeling those wind chills in the teens and 5 o'clock this evening. And notice, these are the winds. Look how fast they've increased. That's why it's going to be so cold outside. Our clothing in the South, again, we're not accustomed to this. We don't have those heavy parka, ski pants, or anything like that that can block the wind. Many of us don't. Some people do, but this is going to cut right through you. So you got to have multiple layers on if you have to get out and about. But like I said, this is a weekend event. We don't have to worry about schools or businesses tomorrow. But I know a lot of people attend church, houses of worship. That's their call. It's going to be cold and windy. There will be some slick spots on the roads tomorrow. And when we show you the impacts again, where we're going to be seeing those greatest snowfall totals, again, and the highest threat for travel impacts, this is going to be over towards Milledgeville, Sandersville, Wrightsville, east and along 16 and 75. This is where you have to be worried about the greatest problems tomorrow. So you get up into Hancock County around Sparta, forecasting major impacts, and that's because the roads are going to be treacherous up there, is what the Weather Prediction Center is thinking. And again, travel will be impacting along 75 and 16. But again, the farther north and east you go, that's where those heavier snowfall totals will be and the greater snowfall impacts. And again, you head west of 75, yes, we're going to be dealing with some limited impacts, maybe as far west as LaGrange, Thomaston, Butler, Montezuma. Just because you're not impacted by this, you're still going to see some snow flurries today, but the heaviest snowfall totals and as far as the impacts are going to be staying well to the east of you. But again, if you notice around Macon, it kind of is following the interstates. That's where we're expecting some travel. But like I said, I noticed driving in this morning, 75 and 16 last night and this morning, GDOT had already brined the roadways. So that's going to at least help with some of the icing issues. But as I said, looking at some of the Atlanta stations this morning, their northern counties, even though the roads have been treated, the snow is immediately sticking to them. So again, it's just because it's such a cold air mass moving in. Last weekend, we were in the mid-30s. We had that freezing rain in our northeastern counties, and we knew it would stay in our northeastern counties up near really Putnam County, Jasper County, and Hancock County, and the ice storm was up near Interstate 20 and off towards the north. Weekend before, we had temperatures in the 30s with that beautiful, heavy, wet snow falling across middle Georgia. But it didn't stick to the roadways, and that was the best part because temperatures were in the low to mid 30s, and it quickly melted that afternoon. That is one of the best snow events we've ever had in middle Georgia. It produced a lot of excitement. By the late afternoon, most of it was gone. That's what people want to see. But unfortunately, with the lasting cold and that Arctic air mass settling in, we're going to be dealing with issues from this event for a few days, and that's going to be unfortunate because we're going to be dealing with those slick spots. Hopefully we don't have any power outages, and like I said though, the winds are going to be so strong that any power outages today will be caused by wind, not by snow. Blowing snow will reduce visibilities, 75, 16, some of the bigger roadways, US 280, US 80, just depending on where you're going. And then if you're traveling north, they're still going to be having issues around the Atlanta metro. The better forecast for this, head south if you want to get out of town. Head down towards Florida. It's still going to be cold down there. As I said, even down towards Tampa, they could be seeing some snow flurries tomorrow. Orlando, it's going to be down into the 20s, so this is a huge Arctic air mass impacting the deep south all the way down into Florida. Miami's going to see lows in the low 30s. Again, some of the coldest air they've seen since the 80s. But for us in middle Georgia, we dealt with this cold weather last year, and we're going to deal with it again this year. But again, snowfall, the radar has a lot of trouble seeing where the snow is, so it's showing up, and this is going to continue to fill in, but we do have snow falling from the Birmingham area over towards Montgomery, and then the snow essentially along Interstate 20 off towards the north. Pretty good amounts really starting to fall across the northern portions of the state. And when I say amounts, the coverage, not so much the intensity or the accumulations, but this will continue to fill in, and as it drops off towards the south and east, we're going to start to see those flurries flying through the mid-state. I'll show you the forecast model once again, and this is just one of the models. I showed it last hour, but now that we're in the 8 o'clock hour, this should be the newest update. As I said, this is the HER model. That stands for High Resolution Rapid Refresh. This updates every hour. So as the event's ongoing, it's getting that new model data in, and it's going to be showing you. So at 8 o'clock, this is what the radar is looking like across middle Georgia. We don't have much of anything coming through. And as we start to move forward, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, that's when it's going to start impacting some of our northern counties along 75, Butts County, Jasper County, getting into Monroe and Lamar counties. And then as we head into the early afternoon hours, you're seeing that snow. And again, ignore the pink. This is bad model data. This is all snow event, so we're not worried about any mixture because the temperatures are already below freezing throughout the entire column of the atmosphere. But again, Macon over towards Milledgeville, you're going to be seeing snow falling. And again, through the afternoon, here's that band. You see those darker shades of purple or brighter shades of purple. Will this be where that heavier band of snow sets up? We will just have to wait and see. But if you look at some of the snowfall totals, that's where it's going to paint some of those higher snowfall totals in our eastern counties in that winter storm warning. That's why they're under a winter storm warning, why the rest of middle Georgia under a winter weather advisory. Winter storm warning is actually one step higher than a winter weather advisory because of the overall impacts. We're talking greater than 2 inches of snow possible. And notice 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we're still going to be dealing with that. Sorry, hit the wrong button. Let's go back to that 3 o'clock time frame. So again, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then as we head to the 5 o'clock hour, we're still seeing snow, maybe a little bit of heavier snow west of 75. It will be sticking. By 5 o'clock, we're all down into the 20s. But as I keep saying, I have to reiterate this. This is that light powdery snow. Winds are going to be howling. It's going to be blowing around. So you may get 2 inches of snow in some locations, but because of the wind, it's not going to pile up to 2 inches. It's just going to be being blown around, and that's going to reduce those visibilities we've been talking about. So that's just what we're going to be dealing with. 5, 6, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, you still got that heavier band. Hancock County, Washington County, Wilkinson County, Lawrence County, Johnson County, down towards Treutlen County and Montgomery County. This is where we are expecting maybe 2 inches. Some locations may get 3 to 4 inches. There's always a surprise when it comes to a winter storm, where that heaviest band of snow sets up. We saw it last year occur. Much of Middle Georgia got 2 or 3 inches. You got down towards Crisp County, they had 9 inches with that system last year, but that was a different storm system because it was coming out of the Gulf. This one's a little bit different. It's coming out of the north and west. It's an upper level low. Upper level low, we always say, is a weatherman's woe because it squeezes out the moisture in the atmosphere and it can produce some heavier snowfall totals. And we're going to see that somewhere in our eastern counties within that winter storm warning. So again, a complicated forecast, but it's really not. We knew from the get-go this is going to be an all snow event, but really the issue this weekend is going to be the blowing snow and those wind chills. They're going to be so cold across Middle Georgia. So be prepared. It is going to be brutally cold later today and tonight with those howling north winds. And we just don't see much of an improvement. It's very rare for us to get one of those extreme cold warnings, and that's what we're going to be dealing with. And we always say the 4 Ps, people, pets, pipes, and plants. I know it's not the growing season, but still a lot of people, when the weather's nice, they will move some of their house plants out onto the porch or something to give them some sunshine, some fresh air. It hadn't been that warm lately, so hopefully you have been doing that. But all of Middle Georgia and really the entire state of Georgia is under that extreme cold warning. And this is going to be for those wind chills later tonight and tomorrow morning that are going to be in the -5 to 10 degree range here in the mid-state. -15 to -10 for the Interstate 20 off towards the north. So brutally cold across Middle Georgia. And again, just stay warm. Find a way to stay warm. Hopefully we don't have any major power issues, but I've been saying the winds will cause the power issues, not the snow this event. So hopefully answered a lot of questions for you. I can continue to ask these or answer these questions. So as I go down through the comments, just looking. As far as timing, again, it's going to start northern counties 9 to 10 o'clock and then work its way south. I'll continue to show the model data. And again, the HER model, it updates every hour. I'll show you snowfall totals. Again, don't be wish casting. Just because you're seeing numbers put out by the models doesn't mean that's what you're going to see. So here's the graph model. This is a short range model that we are looking at. It's going to show those heavier amounts off towards the east. Yes, it's showing nothing in Macon as well as Warner Robins. You're going to see snow today, but how much accumulating snow? And this updates every 3 hours, so it changes rapidly. Last model run, it had about a half an inch of snow in Macon. So you see how it shifts. So it's really waiting to get the system going. But again, you're seeing those heavier amounts off towards the east. We look at the GFS, the American model. The heavier amounts remain off towards the east. Some snowfall along Interstate 75 and 16, but again, off towards the east in that winter storm warning. Butler, Montezuma, Americus, you're going to see snow today. It's going to be snow showers, but it will likely not amount to much. European model, along and east of 75 and 16. Again, you're going to have that heavier band set up somewhere this afternoon and evening, and you'll get, again, a welcome surprise. But these models are struggling with this because that wind, the snow is not going to pile up like we're used to. Winds are going to be tropical storm force later today in a lot of spots, and that's going to be blowing that snow around. So again, the reduced visibilities are going to be the issue, and we're going to see that. This is going to be a unique storm system for us because it's more like a northern snow event than it is a southern snow event. Again, I've said this several times. We usually see that heavy wet snow, those big fat snowflakes. That's not going to be the case. These are going to be the small snowflakes, that powdery snow. Not going to be great for building snowmen or making snowballs if you see enough snow at your location, which, again, most of us will not see that much snow. But where the snow falls, it's going to immediately stick, unfortunately, and that's going to be the issue. And snowfall amounts less than an inch, you still get significant travel impacts. So when you're seeing 2/10 of an inch, maybe 4/10 of an inch around Forsyth from one model, this will produce slick spots on the interstate. And that's why those impacts are expected, especially if you follow these colors. Minor impacts are in yellow. And if you notice, they're following the interstates because this is where you can see some of those higher impacts due to the roadways, and especially those bridges. Bridges always ice over before the actual road. Keep that in mind. Off towards the north and east, where there's heavier snow bands, that's where you're going to have major impacts. And this updates every few hours. We'll see as it continues to adjust through the morning hours. So that is what we are watching right now. Yeah, sun, it is shining in Lawrence County. When I was driving in, the sky was clear here in Macon. But once the snow starts drifting off towards the south, the clouds, of course, will build in, and we'll see those sunshine go away and have those reduced visibilities. And that'll be essentially all the sun we are dealing with today. The sun will not come back out until tomorrow once those clouds move in. So that is what we are dealing with right now. I'll go back and show you where the snow is falling currently. And again, statewide picture shows that it's falling. It's far south, is really getting into portions of, you get into Carroll County and then along Interstate 20. And again, the radar has a hard time seeing snow a lot of times. And again, because it's the smaller snowflakes this go round, there's more snow falling up here than what the radar is showing. And then you got snow as far south as Montgomery, Alabama right now. They're getting a light dusting over there, trace amounts along Interstate 65. But again, we're going to see those greater impacts along and east of 75. Major winter issues in the Carolinas, from Augusta over towards Fayetteville, Charlotte. It's been snowing in Charlotte much of the morning and into the overnight hours. And again, we're going to continue to see this snow work off towards the south and east. As the snow arrives, so will that wind. And that wind's going to be the issue as we head throughout the rest of today. So hopefully everybody's got a clear understanding on how this is going to work. We're just going to be sitting here. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett. Meteorologist Noah Houck will be joining me here shortly, and we're going to be doing updates. We're going to be updating our website at WGXA.tv. Of course, once the snow starts to fall across middle Georgia, we'll do another Facebook Live. We'll answer your questions. So even though you may not have a question right now, we're going to be back on here in the next couple of hours. But just want to give everybody a heads up to be prepared for that snow coming through. Again, not a lot of snow is going to fall. This is not a major snow event. This is going to be a blowing snow event, and it's going to be a cold weather event. So be prepared. Brutally cold air will be ushering in. Morning lows tomorrow morning in the mid-teens. Wind chills closer to zero, and we have not dealt with wind chills that cold this year, this winter across middle Georgia, and that's going to be the main issue. Howling winds later today, 25 to 35 miles per hour. It's going to be blowing that snow around. Look for reduced visibilities. You're not going to see the snow piling up. It's a light powdery snow, and that's just what we're going to be dealing with. Greater impacts off towards the north and east. We're in that winter weather advisory for Macon as well as Warner Robins, and then that winter storm warning. Travel, once the snow starts, not recommended. The rest of today, tonight, and into much of tomorrow. Tomorrow we will get into the 30s, so that'll be seeing some improvement. But whatever melts tomorrow will refreeze tomorrow night because we're going to fall back down into the teens and 20s. So just keep that in mind. A quick check on the temperatures right now. High temperatures have already occurred today. We're below freezing in many locations, and these will continue to fall. Just looking at that overall Saturday forecast, we're going to be into the 20s the rest of today here in Macon, and those temperatures will continue to drop into the low to mid-20s by this afternoon. Notice by 9 o'clock the sky will be clearing, but we are going to have those scattered snow showers at times this afternoon. It's not going to snow constantly, yes, but there's going to be snow blowing around middle Georgia at times. And somewhere in our eastern counties or somewhere in middle Georgia, especially east of 75, that's where that heavier band is going to set in. And I'll show the forecast model one more time just as we head through the next couple of hours, we're going to be seeing that, continue to see that snow shift off towards the south. This is all snow for us, and then those brighter shades of purple you're seeing, that's where those heavier snow bands are going to be. Not a lot from Macon off towards the west, but again, we could even see a snow band stretching from Upson County down towards maybe Dooley County. Even though you're not included in that winter weather advisory, doesn't mean you're not going to see snow. You're just not expected to see significant impacts, and that's what those winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings essentially say. So again, by 7 o'clock tonight, it's mainly shifting off towards the east. You're still getting some of that heavier snow, but again, I keep reiterating that wind, it's going to be blowing the snow around, so you're not going to be seeing those accumulations pile up. It's going to be blowing everything around because that's that light powdery snow. So hopefully everybody's going to be happy with what they see, but I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed. People want to see a lot of snow if it's this cold. That's just not going to be an issue. Not expecting major power outages. That's just not going to be an issue with this. It's not the heavy wet snow. It's going to be the winds. If there's any power outages, it's going to be from winds knocking down trees on the power lines, but the power outage index not particularly high with this event. The main impacts, which the impact graphic usually shows with power outages, this is mainly going to be for travel. This does take into account those power outages, but I'm really telling you this is mainly for travel because of those icy slick spots on the road. And where you do see snow, it's going to stick immediately because those temperatures are below freezing. So that is one thing we know, that with those temperatures already below freezing, and we've had cold nights all week long. We've been in the 20s most nights, so the ground is cold. So once the snow starts falling and falling on those roads, it's going to stick. And like I said, I know GDOT has done a great job brining the roads, salting the roads, sanding the roads in most locations. There's still going to be issues. Travel not recommended later this afternoon. And again, use your better judgment. Driving on snow, we don't do it that often, but I always equivocate it to driving on mud, essentially. Drive slow, don't put on your brakes, don't accelerate, and if you're going up a hill, don't stop, keep going, and your car should make it. But again, travel is not recommended once the snow and wind really starts, because you're going to have slick spots, but you're also going to have those reduced visibilities. It's going to look like a dense fog out there in many locations because that visibility is going to be so low because of that blowing snow and those very gusty winds. So hopefully everyone will be safe. Use your better judgment on this event. You're not going to see a lot of snow, but you are going to be dealing with a lot of cold with this event. So hopefully I've covered what everybody wants to know. And again, ask your questions. We'll continue to answer these. We're going to take a break for a little while, but once the snow starts falling here in Middle Georgia, we of course will jump back on. But I just wanted to give everybody a Saturday morning update that we're here, we're watching it, we're all in this together, and stay warm. Just find a way to stay warm. As the old song says, it's a 3-dog night. It's going to be that cold tonight, so definitely want to be finding ways to stay warm and bundle up. Hopefully we don't have any of the power issues. It's not an ice storm, so we're not expecting that, but we will have those very gusty winds that could cause some sporadic power outages. But the snow will not be the culprit for the power outages. The snow will be the culprit for the slick roads across Middle Georgia. But again, be safe out there. We'll keep everybody informed and up to date. I'm actually about to go update our web story, get some of the latest model data into it. And again, if you have any questions, you can always come back to Facebook, YouTube. We're answering the questions on there. And then again, we'll be doing more of these chats or these Facebook Lives later today. So hopefully everybody has a great and safe day. I really want everybody to stay warm, and hopefully everybody will have minor impacts. But again, later today, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be more exciting than anything, and then it becomes an issue. Please be careful out there. Drive safe, And again, we'll get through this event. Not a major event, but it will have high impacts. And again, the cold is the story. It's not the snow. The snow's the excitement. The cold is the misery that sets in later today. So everyone have a great Saturday. Again, we're here watching it, and we'll keep you informed and up to date. Hope everybody has a safe Saturday. And again, please, please stay warm tonight and the next couple of days. Use that better judgment. And don't be out on those roadways if you don't have to travel. But happy Saturday, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Stinnett.